becomes less costly for the customers, and it really enhances the brand with the consumer, and the company really kind of embraces a better relationship with the consumer.
How do you optimize your customer's journey, drive demand, reduce churn rate, increase retention, and generate growth? Are some of the questions marketers continuously ask.
Welcome to the Customer XP Crew Weekly Podcast, where we discuss marketing strategies, tactics, ideas, experiences, invite guests and experts to help you with your marketing growth by being customer-centric. And now to this episode.
Sebastian, how you doing?
Hi, Juan. Hello. Welcome, everyone who are listening to us. This is the Customer XP Crew, your weekly podcast about everything customer-centric. I'm Sebastian, and I'm accompanied by Juan Gomez, our Marketing Director Expert. Hello, Juan, and thank you once again. So today's topic, subscription-based models, how to make it relevant.
Awesome. Thank you for that warm introduction. I think subscription-based models are becoming so popular nowadays. We can see it from anything that we do. Just if you're staying home and watching a movie, you're turning on Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, Paramount Plus. I mean, you have so much options nowadays in terms of entertainment. If you use your computer, probably your company or where you're working at, they have different solutions like Dropbox, and that's a SaaS product, or Microsoft with their Office 365 suite with Microsoft Teams, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, that used to be not so long ago. Well, not so long ago. We were already in year 2022. So, but in the 90s, this were sold as products on the store that you will go and pick a box that came with a CD, and you have to introduce that CD, install the software. Nowadays is under the SaaS model, software as a service. You just have always the latest software. You don't pay that much money, and it's a great business model, the subscription base, and you can see it for a lot of different things. Personally, I think I use a lot of them. Obviously, Netflix is, in terms of entertainment, it's something that I use. Dropbox, in terms of file storage, is something that we use at marketing. I think we have other tools in terms of marketing that are our MarTech stack, that we use a subscription based, like Typeform, Zapier, among other tools, and they're all subscription based models. Tell me about you. What do you use?
Oh, I think subscriptions just took over. I mean, talking about streaming services, there are so many. It's like the new cable now. And a while ago, you reminded me of those old times where we used to buy our software products through CDs. And I remember there was like a security or validation code that you have to scratch from the cover, and sometimes it was already used, so that was horrible and a drag. I remember especially the encyclopedias as well. So it was those were funny times, and now just one click and on the go. But I was thinking, and for our audience members that maybe they have it 100% clear, what would be exactly the difference from a subscription-based model and just purchasing a product or service?
Yeah, I think subscription-based models really coming throughout history, and they've been evolving ever since we had a revolution in the industry of printing and publishing, with the first massification of print media, being able to have machines that printed thousands and hundreds of samples and issues. This gave the opportunity to really open up the media and entertainment business, really, because reading back then was super entertaining. Maybe nowadays is more videos, but ever since the 17th century, 1600s, we saw the emergence of magazines and newspapers coming along with subscription-based models where you will pay to get delivery of X magazine or X newspaper, whatever it was. And it started evolving, obviously, as the world continued to innovate and create new services and products, and technology obviously created more and more opportunities for that. So the subscription-based model, basically what it states is it's a recurring payment that customers pay in order to receive a service or a product on a continuous basis.
So we could, I guess we could say that we used to value ownership. I mean, now we do, but now we also value access. So I think that's why some successful services, their call to actions are like, okay, become a member of our community or get a premium access to our service. Like that feeling of belonging to a community, I think it also like it became a valuable asset for customers, like because we as people, we want to belong. So I think that's also an added value that became really really priceless over time.
Well, human beings, as by nature, really, we tend to be social creatures. And what I mean by this, we're always in a we're always in a pursuit not only of happiness, but we're also in a pursuit of belonging, and belonging creates happiness. And like you said, access or memberships really create that community. Let's say, for example, if you buy an expensive car, like a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a lot of people and these millionaires, and I came to realize this through a friend who became a millionaire. And I was telling him, because when we used to talk before, he said, like, one day when I become a millionaire, I'm not gonna buy a one of these cars because it's just too much, right? I don't want to be this guy being labeled like rich and fancy and all that kind of stuff. And then the other day I went with him to eat lunch, and he told me the reason why he bought it was for a complete different reason, and his mind shifted. And it's because he created a membership, a community, pretty much by him. He was able to join this community of other wealthy individuals by purchasing this car, which gives him access to network with these individuals who are part of this, let's call it, premium club, or whatever you want to call it, this elite club of fancy car owners and expensive car owners. And that's only accessible due to the fact that he purchased this car. So sometimes memberships are and communities are built indirectly from a brand or a product, but they bring benefits. And you can also see it with other kind of things, like, for example, if you have an American Express Black Card, that gives you also status, or you have different types of memberships that also, again, kind of make you fit with other people. So going back to my story with my friend, I was making fun of him because I was telling him, like, oh
Yes.
man, you're so full of it. Now you said before that you were not gonna buy a car, a Ferrari, and look at you now. You bought a Ferrari, and now you're those bling bling people. And he told me, Juan, it's not that. It's the fact that I can network with other wealthy individuals, and this gives me opportunity and access to meet other successful people, which I can do business with and continue to grow and learn from them. Because if I buy another I don't know, regular car, yeah, there might be clubs if there's more sporty and all that stuff, but there's not really this really successful people that are able to afford these cars. And that is the only reason I bought it. And he had a fit with himself and he had to fight himself under the belief that before he wasn't gonna do it before becoming this affluent and very successful person. And nowadays he's doing it just because the fact that he has an access and now is a member of this group of people who get together to ride along in their beautiful, nice cars and have a nice time. But also networking with them brings him business opportunities.
Right. Yeah. I guess they would have looked at him weirdly if he got in a Prius. Yeah,
Can
it
you
wouldn't have
imagine?
been the same. Yeah, but absolutely, and I agree. Like beyond any personal belief, is because we value that, like the symbol what it represents, those things. I know there's a service called Criterion, I believe, which sends you like monthly special edited versions of films. But and you could say like, you know what, I could just buy those movies and they will be cheaper, but it's because you get access to a membership of a club of people that are very culture in cinema, so that gives you that aura of belonging. And that's why I think this is really the key of subscription based models, because whatever in marketing that plays with emotions and experience is always going to be a winning card.
Yeah, and some memberships are paid and some are implied. Like for example, he bought a car, but he doesn't have to pay to be joining these different events. It's like a
Exactly.
community was built on this, and he automatically becomes a member of this community just because he now has a beautiful car, a Ferrari to drive around, which he gets invitation from the brand to go and play along with the other Ferrari owners in different events that they do or get-togethers that they have. So once again, some are paid, some are not paid, and but most importantly is what value it brings to the person. At the end of the day, that's what people really sign up to any subscription, membership, or whatever other type of service or product they buy is what is the value. And now, understanding from a subscription-based model, what are the benefits is for a business is I think one of the most important ones is predictability. It's like you can really predict your income, your ROI. You can make better sound investments based on real factual data that you can really forecast, and you're not just giving a random number because you don't really control the actions of people. But with subscription, I'm not saying you control the actions of people, but they are subscribed to you, and you can really forecast this recurring revenue. It's convenient also for the customers because let's say from a SaaS perspective, they always get the latest software updates and they don't have to be buying a new version every time. They just, if a new version rolls out, they automatically get it, so it's convenient. It's always there for them. Um, for example, Netflix, you have access to the library and the catalog of movies, series, documentaries, whatever it is, and you have access to that continuously on demand whenever you want. Digitally, you just hit play and it pops on on whatever device with a screen that you can watch on. Again, they decrease the acquisition costs as well for the customers, because instead of being a one-time purchase where you have to do a lump sum, it's divided between many customers, which the acquisition becomes less costly for the customers, and it really enhances the brand with the consumer, and the company really kind of embraces a better relationship with the consumer. So those are the real advantages of a subscription-based model.
And now that you mentioned about the like the payment one person does, and it's because when the strategy is developed properly, it's not like I mean it can happen that someone tries your subscription and they don't like it and they want to unsubscribe, but when you have designed like a complete and proper and functioning and optimized funnel, people are not just going to bail that easily. That's also one of the advantages, and I think one of the most successful hooks in history in this case is the free trial. And I don't know who was the first person who came up with the idea, but it was genius, because I think all of us at one point in time we have clicked on a try or free trial version, you know?
Well, like if you think about it from a consumer perspective, the psychology of opting into a freemium model, it's just genius. First of all, you're getting usage of a tool or service or product, whatever it is, and all the burden and risk is on the company and not on the consumer.
Exactly.
Obviously, you have some limitations, whatever that is if it's a certain amount of usage, a certain amount of features, whatever the company wants to impose as a limit, or if it's time, like you get the full version, but you can just try it for 15 days or 30 days or whatever X amount of time. But from a psychology perspective, what really creates or takes that person to try it, it's that it removes the barriers to try this product, to take that risk of investing on something that you might be like, I don't know, I don't
It's facilitate the process.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like we love change, and people say, yes, I'm gonna change and I'm gonna do it, and everybody wants to change, but people don't embrace change. So if you create the path of less friction, and the freemium model really creates that, it enhances that in particular. It enhances people opting in and doing the trials, the freemium model, because you're removing all the risk and objections that a person might have that might trigger an objection on a sales call normally.
And something that I think that is very valuable that you have mentioned in a previous episode, like giving the user the possibility of unsubscribing easily to your service is also a very good move, and I think it's very important to do now, because it gives us like honesty, transparency, and me personally is something that I can trust more, that gives me more peace of mind, like something that I cannot stop using or subscribing easily. I might have second thoughts.
Well, I think with making just becoming transparent as a company and really creating a human connection with a brand, and if a person doesn't want something, like you should make it accessible to them. It's like, why, if people don't want this, and we discussed this in the last episode, so I'm not gonna go back into it, but one of the things that really kind of triggers that negative emotion is you want to do something and it's blocking you because they want to retain you, and that's not playing legit, that's not playing fair. So The idea here is to create a brand that it's conscious, and it makes it easy for consumers to do whatever it is that they do with the tool, even if it's unsubscribing from it. I think unsubscribing from a tool, the company should really look into the feedback of their customers and really find out why they are unsubscribing, so you can do a little bit of homework on customer feedback and product development and really understand what is it that they are doing wrong that it's triggering these people to unsubscribe. Especially if you start seeing a pattern, hey, you have to develop and do something about it.
And because retention should come organically. You
Yes.
shouldn't have to force it. Like people should stay because they like you and they want to stay, and because they feel identified, and they want to be part of your community, of your brand as a community. So that's also, I think, something very important to point out.
Huge. That's something huge, Sebastian. And not only that, but remember that being subscribed to something, it's like you're tied to something for the period, as long as you want that subscription to stay. With contract or without contract, it's like, okay, you sign up for a year under this subscription, you're based on that subscription for a year. If it's a month to month, you can opt out whenever you want. But I want to really make a point here, and it's you have to create a brand that it's always acting in the from a customer centric point of view, and all the efforts are going towards being customer centric. What do I mean by that is, once a person opts into a subscription, your brand is going to be cyclical, normally monthly, and you have to embrace that customer and that relationship and make it valuable every single time, because now you're with this customer tied hand in hand along the period of usage that you give this customer. So if they're using this tool, this service that you offer, and it's you billing them monthly, then you have to create such a good relationship with your customers, and you have the opportunity to do it because you have a recurring revenue from them.
Exactly. Juan, I wanted to read aloud a question made by one of our listeners. They're asking, what's the best way to target to an audience that will go for a subscription rather than a one-time purchase? Is it generational, like boomer, millennials, Gen Z, or is there another factor that matters?
Wow, that's a great question. Let's break it down in parts. I think just to seek an audience, first you need to know who your ICP is. There's no secret formula for that. Every company, even if, for example, let's go to cars. If Ferraris obviously have a different type of customer than probably a GM car does, or Mercedes or Honda or Toyota does. So just understanding who's your ICP, your ideal client profile, and really creating an audience based out of that ideal client profile is going to reap the benefits. Now you have to create message adds value. So from creating a campaign that it's going to drive results, you have to base it from a human factor, and again, being customer centric, where you have to create campaigns that really talk to whatever pain points they are looking for. Because even if you have the best audience segmentation within a campaign that you're using on paid media, and you're not really talking the language of your consumer, then it doesn't matter what type of campaign you do, and if you're pouring down thousands and thousands of dollars, the the effect or the results you're going to get from this are not going to be parallel to what you want.
Absolutely. Excellent. And there's another one. What will be just one actionable tip or strategy to retain a customer that wants to cancel your subscription?
Honestly, if they want to go, you have to understand the reason why the customer wants to leave. And if you can provide a solution or direct them, and that solution is already in place and you already have it, then make sure you're communicating that, because probably it's a lack of knowledge and ignorance. And I don't mean ignorance in a bad sense, but ignorance of not them knowing that feature, that solution, it's available through your service and the subscription that you provide to them. But most importantly, we're talking about creating transparency with your consumer. So really embrace that relationship over and over. And I say, and if they really want to leave because that solution is not what they're looking for, then look at it from a point of learning and make sure that you create a better product and you take that feedback and make it into the product or service in order for you to enhance your brand and your offer, so you don't have more customers like that person leave your company because that particular solution it's not in place. And if it's important for you and your consumers, then obviously it should be built into the solution that or service that you offer.
Great. I would say that like the key point will be like the customer centric approach gains more value and more importance on a subscription based model. And I think that's where we wanted to point.
Absolutely, Sebastian. I think subscription-based models are all about customer centricity. They're all about customer service and customer experience. Remember, there's no growth without customer retention, and customer retention means customer experience. Obviously, you need new clients, so you have to be continuously operating and creating marketing campaigns and doing a lot of branding that really enhances the value in whatever niche you are in, and from there start expanding. But you really have to create a good momentum with your clients.
Absolutely. I would say that's a wrap. Thank you, Juan. Thank you so much for your insights. And thank you to everyone in the audience who listened to us. Remember, this is the Customer XP Crew podcast, your weekly podcast about everything customer centric. Stay tuned for our next episode. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like what you just listened. And see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.